Hello and welcome to the power outage vlog. Yes, I am wasting my phone battery recording this at 12 on the second day. I have hair in my mouth of the power outage. Yeah, we lost. So I have to explain. I have to explain things. Feel like I'll have explained things already in the H chooses the read books for me to read vlog that I'm also in the middle of right now. But yeah. This is happening instead of the purple vlog. It kind of, let me explain. So a winter storm happened overnight / yesterday, and by the time I woke up around 7:30 a.m. yesterday, we didn't have power. It's been a fun time. By a fun time, I mean for a bit there, the power company did not register that we didn't have power. Also, I just realized my pinky nail came off. I think the cold took off my pinky nail and I didn't even notice. Now I gotta find it. That's sad. I'll just add it to the list of things. Anyways, so fun times, sometimes. Literally have nothing else I can do, so I've just been reading. Except then I started to get stressed because we're on the second day, right? We are, if I can do math properly, 29 hours into it now, which is the longest power outage we've had. Our longest before now was 14, so I'm suffering home alone in the cold. It's fine. It's fine. It's only 56 in the house. Hence this. Also, this is like the lightest room in the house because there's windows right there. So that's why we're doing this here. But yeah, I started panicking because I'm me. Let's be real. About vlogs because I do not have the third vlog for the 3-book vlog that came out this past Wednesday instead of this coming Saturday for me. Last Saturday, I had to switch things around because I don't have it downloaded on my Kindle. Sad face. So while I am finishing the second book for that vlog, I'm not able to read the third one in the meantime, so I'm just giving myself more time by moving things around and whatnot, right? But here's also the other thing. I do not have the ability to read the 5 other books within 3 days or something like that. And also, I have no way to get them. Because, like, no phones, no service, no internet, no power. Yeah, it's a good time. So then I was like, well, what the heck do I do? Right? How do I do the vlog if I can't do the vlog? Right? Can't get the books. So I came up with this idea where I finally got the stupid hair on my mouth. It was a dog hair. Who could have guessed? But I got this idea where I was like, I'm just gonna read 5 random books. 2 I did read before the power outage, but that's fine. One of them I did start yesterday during the power outage, and we'll talk about it. And then the other 2 I'm gonna read during or post power outage, depending. And yeah, we're gonna talk about it. Because why not? While I'm down here, I think I can smell smoke, but I'm pretty sure it's just the fire. I have going in the other room. It's fine. It's fine. The house isn't burning down. It's fine. You can tell my anxiety's having a good time. It's great. It's great. But yeah, instead of doing the purple vlog now, I was trying to figure out when I can do it instead. I was looking at like my schedule and whatnot, and like technically everything's planned all the way until August. The soonest I have 5-book vlog opening, right? But I was like, that's way too late. That's way too late. So I moved things around. Kind of next April and June and July are all like stuck as they are. So that kind of left May. I had like a low-key plan for my 5-book vlog in May. So I just switched them. So that one's gonna be in August now, and purple's gonna be in May. For your information. But yeah, let's talk about the 5 books for this. I think I'll just start with the ones that I've already read, right? starting with Dino Stud. I don't remember the author's name. It's fine. This is 100-something page erotica. I have thoughts. And 3 of these books I am reading for other things already, which is why they were downloaded on my Kindle already, or why I'd already read them, but I haven't talked about them in a vlog, despite having to be filming for vlogs, right? And this one is for not only NetGalley, but also for the podcast, right? I think the podcast episode is going to be up either the 1st or 2nd Friday in April. And I have thoughts and opinions. So many thoughts and opinions. I wrote almost 2,000 words, just short of 2,000 words, on a Word document of notes as I was reading it. Because I'm me. I'm doing the same thing for Unleashed, but now I'm handwriting them because power outage. Fun. So, you know, good times. And by good times, I mean I rated it 2 stars. General idea, 1, I don't know why it's labeled as erotica. It's only labeled as erotica on Storygraph. I checked on Goodreads the other day and it was not labeled as erotica there. So, interesting, fun times, right? The one sex scene we got, mediocre at best. Okay, not that great. The dino stuff, actually fun. I did like all the stuff about dinos that, there were other stuff at the last, like, 10% that was pure chaos that I wanted the whole book to be, but that's beside the point. That's a negative point. But, the general dino stuff, I actually really liked. Like, the author is actually, like, a paleontologist or something like that. So, like, she actually works in the field that she's talking about throughout this book. So, like, she knows what she's talking about. And I did get really excited when Iguanodon was brought up once, because that was my dinosaur as a kid. Thank you very much. Yes, I was a dino kid. 1 year for the, like, earliest birthday party I remember, was before I was 7. I know that because we were still living in Maine. And we made a papier-mâché Brontosaurus pinata out of hand. It's a mess to do that. A lot of glue. But we did it. And that's, like, one of my earliest memories. And kind of low-key my favorite birthday, and I don't even remember it. I just remember that fact. Okay? So I was a dino kid, so I had fun with that stuff. But also, whenever it was, like, romantic stuff, which was, like, most of the time, I was bored. I was so fucking bored. Like, the last 10% when it became pure chaos, I was having a good time. But I was bored. It was boring. And yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. I mean, like, the podcast is linked in the link tree, so, like, check out when that episode comes out. Probably pretty soon after this goes up. But, like, yeah, I didn't like it as much as I thought I would, and I'm sad. And for those who are wondering, yes, I did mean to write that review and post it yesterday, but I can't because of power outage. So, I'm sorry, NetGalley. Please don't hate me. Now, the other book I read before this was for Books and Lala's Buzzwordathon, right? And the word for March is secrets. And I have, like, very few books on my TBR with the word secrets. I think there's, like, The Secret Life, or A Secret Life. What's it called? By Donna Tartt? Yeah. I think we all know that one. I contemplate switching it out for that one. Initially, in the beginning of the month, but, like, it's over 500 words, please. 500 pages. And I was like, I shouldn't do that. And that was before I pulled clips out of the TBR jar, so good decision on my part. So I went with my initial plan, which was Ali Wong's book. I don't remember the full title because it's pretty long, but I know it goes Dear Girls, Untold Secrets, blah, 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 blah. I don't know the rest of it. But, yeah, I read that. 1, because nonfiction, so it goes towards my nonfiction goal. But 2, I've liked the 2 comedy specials of hers that I've seen on Netflix. I think I mentioned there being a 3rd one or something like that. But yeah, right. I'm not gonna rate it. I decided not to rate it because I think hearing her comedy works better for me than reading it. Like, if I had an audiobook and listened to it, maybe I would have enjoyed it more, because I don't think her comedy is for me reading it. I think half of the enjoyment and why I like her comedy special so much is because of the charisma she has and the way she tells the jokes. And me just reading it was not as enjoyable. Okay, it was not as enjoyable. But another fun thing is like very early on. A lot of it is like it's written as letters to her two daughters. About her life and things that she learned throughout her life, and giving them messages on like what to and not to do, and stuff like that. Like what type of people you should date and all this stuff, right? And how she became so positive and all this stuff, and her upbringing versus her mother's upbringing, and how that affected her growing up, up until the point where she became a mother and started to understand some things and stuff like that, right? And of course, she talks about her marriage and meeting her husband and catching him. There's also like this whole thing where she was happy she had to have a C-section, because at that point it made it nearly impossible for him to divorce her because he'd seen her insides. But the thing was that, like, right after I started to read it, because she was talking about how her husband looked like an Asian version of, I don't remember what celebrity. I was like, does he really though? And so then I was like, I've never actually seen a picture of him, I don't think. So I looked him up, and then that's when I learned they got divorced like a few months ago. So like all this stuff about their romance and how all this stuff was like left a sour taste in my mouth. Like, I get that it's an amicable divorce, they're still happy and friends, because they've been through a lot of shit together. And so like they're gonna stay friends. How do you not stay friends after that, right? Which is like nice. Happy for them for that. But like a lot of the stuff about her romance and dating him and all the stuff. And I was just there just like, cool. Especially any jokes she made about how there was no way he could divorce her and all this stuff, and I was just there like, so I decided not to rate it because, like, yeah, I don't know. I don't think it was for me. But I enjoyed parts of it. I didn't enjoy other parts of it. Other parts of it, I was like, did you seriously just say that? Right? And yeah, I think it would have been more enjoyable if I listened to it. Do I know what I'm saying anymore? No. The other three books. The one that I started yesterday that I'm a third of the way through is Spellbound by F.T. Lukens. For those who do not know, I love F.T. Lukens. Both In Deep Waters, which I bought physically recently, which is over there actually. And So This Is Ever After, which I read in the Pride Month reading vlog last year, are like some of my favorite books. Are both on my favorite shelf, right? And so I was very, very surprised when I got approved for their new book on NetGalley. Like I think it was like the third or fourth book I got approved for. And I was like, excuse me, what? And it comes out in April. I talked about this in my TBR where it comes out in April, but I have plans for April. It also comes out the 4th of April. So reading it early, for that purpose. And yeah, I'm so far liking it. I've met the two characters, Sun and Rook. Rook is non-magical. His grandmother was a like low-level magic person, and he lived with her, but when she died, the magical government basically kicked him out of his home and all this stuff. And technically, legally, he does get money still, until he becomes a legal adult. He's 17 at this point, but he has graduated from high school, and he's like, added income would be great. Plus he wants to rejoin the magic world, so he gets a job with like one of the most powerful sorcerers around, at a hex shop. She's gotten in trouble in the past for going against the magical government, right? And he's like kind of a genius, if you can't tell from him graduating at 17 shortly after he turned 17, right? So he is also like a technological genius kind of, and he's built a device that he thinks can help make it so he can see ley lines without being a magical person, which is like a thing. Like, you're only allowed to be in the magic community if you can see ley lines type thing, because then you can use them. But if he has a device that makes it so he can see them, therefore he should be left. I don't understand how he thinks they're actually going to let him back into the magic community, even with this device. Like, if anything, they're going to lock him up, right? Right? Because that's kind of the vibes that I'm getting from them, right? So he wants to also work in a magic shop to get information about magic, so we can see if his like device actually works and all this stuff. And then there's Sun, who uses they them pronouns, and so does their sorcerer that they're apprentice of, named Fable? I don't remember Rook's boss's name. I know her last name's Hex, right? But Fable and Sun, um, kind of always are running the same circle as Rook's boss. Uh, and they sometimes get called to the same jobs, but they like antagonistic personalities, those two. And so Rook and Sun start being antagonistic. Sun is very much the type of person who's like the goth kid slash emo kid, but it wasn't a phase mom, right? That sounds bad, but like it's enjoyable somewhat because from their point of view, paying attention to Rook is like kind of very depressed inside on the inside, but like on the outside, very happy and go lucky, positive and all this stuff. And so Sun looking at this is just like, how dare you be happy? Like, so they have like opposite personalities. Sun clearly has a thing for Rook, but like tries to pretend that they don't. And Rook Loki has a thing for Sun, but tries to pretend that he doesn't. And I know they end up together. Also, well, I assume they end up together. Also, Sun has this ability that when they close their eyes, and like if they blink or something, they can see ley lines very vividly and specific details about them and stuff like that. And then they blink again and they can see normally in color. So I think that's gonna be important. I'm like a third into it. It's a good time. Yeah. And then the other book that's gonna be on my Kindle, that I know I have downloaded is the book for the buddy read with H. That is also gonna be for the podcast. See, I did one that's both podcast and NetGalley. Did one that's NetGalley and one for podcast. But yeah, I already have to read that one, so might as well add it to this vlog type thing. That's kind of what for the first four are. The first four are very much me being like, well, I kind of technically have to read these for this month already. Might as well add them to this random vlog that I'm making, right? This is the longest intro ever. But oh yeah, and Soul to Keep. I was trying to figure out what the name, I think that's the name of it. I always mess up the name of it. It's 500 plus pages. It's a Duskwalker romance, from my last glimpse of the summary, or synopsis or whatever. Basically the main character, is like sacrificed by her village to a magical being, and the magical being just wants love, and stuff happens. I know absolutely nothing. It's just a really beautiful cover, and fantasy romance. I know that for a fact. It's a fantasy romance, which like seems like the perfect way to get H into fantasy is if I make it so it's a fantasy romance, right? That's how it happens, right? I'm trying to ease H into it, okay? I'm trying to ease it in. But yeah, that's the next one, probably after I finish Spellbound, that I'll read when I can't see for notes, because despite the fact that it's for the podcast, both of us are reading it, right? So I don't have to take specific notes. I'm just going to take notes about general thoughts and stuff like that, not like step-by-step, chapter-by-chapter plot summary, like I've done for Unleashed and Dino Stud, which is great. We love that for me, okay? And then the last one, once I finish Unleashed, probably later today, because last I checked, I have like 2 hours left in it. I'm gonna start rereading this.
Yeah, that's a lie. I switched it out. So, cut.
That's what this vlog is. So yeah, I don't know when I'll update you again, because I don't want to waste my phone battery any more than I have. I say as I've been recording this for 22 minutes. So I'll probably update you when the power comes back, however far I got into any of these 3 other books. But yeah, that's the plan. Pray that the power comes back today. Oh my god, please. Okay, it's like almost 3:30, and I don't know what time my mom's getting home, so we're gonna do this fast. Which means I should actually grab the book I meant to grab. First off, Spellbound. Yeah, I finished it. It was good. I liked it. It was what I was expecting. I have a kind of this thing with F.T. Lucan's books where the way they end the book is always just like so sudden, and I feel like I want something more, but it also feels like the perfect length. I don't know. It's just this thing I felt with every single one of the books. I felt the same thing with So This Is Ever After. And that was my favorite so far. That one I rated 4.5. And the other two, this one and In Deeper Waters, I rated 4 stars. That being said, I enjoyed it. I will probably one day try to get it on hardback so I can put it on my shelf so I can have just like an FT Lukens corner. It's a good time. I enjoyed it. I have not written the review for it yet, but I have made the Instagram graphic. And it looks pretty cool. I like it. But yeah, it was a good book. I enjoyed it. Sun and Rook are cute together. I love them. When they first kiss and hold hands, adorable. I love it. Their mate, listen, for people who like cats, there is cute cat content in this book. So go read it. As soon as it comes out, go read it. It's a good time. Now, on to the other books. I have not started A Soul to Keep yet, and it is Tuesday. It's fine. It's fine. Especially since it's like over 500 pages. But it is a monster romance, so I think I can do it. I think I can do it, guys. Now that being said, because of that, I don't think I'm gonna be able to like re-annotate Legendborn. Like I'm still gonna read it this month, but it's not gonna be for this month. I'm switching it out. Listen, this whole vlog is just pure chaos at this point. So you know, that's fine. I'll probably read it after I finish this vlog and do the re-annotation for that, because I do plan to read Bloodmarked next month, and I want to do that before I read Bloodmarked, right? So that's like next week thing. But until then, the 5th book is We're Ignoring How I'm Wearing Pajama Pants at 3:30 p.m. In Deeper Waters. Listen, the whole time I was reading So This Is Ever After, I just wanted to reread In Deeper Waters, because I have not read this since December of 2020. Okay? When I think Riveted was doing this thing where like you could read one book, like every day they had a book that was free online. And the point of it was to like read a chapter 2, see if you liked it, but I read like 4 or 5 of them in just one a day, 4 or 5 times. I really liked it. I didn't really do it last year. Maybe it was 2021. I think it was 2021. Yeah, I remember it was 2021 because my mom was dating her boyfriend, because this is what the book that caused the gay pirate joke, right? That being said, yeah, no, I read it in 24 hours before, so I can do it really fast. And I now own it physically, so why not? I love this book. I want to see, listen, I've gotten used to the FT Lukens writing style, so I want to see if I like it more. Because my main complaints about this was the writing style and how it felt YA, despite the fact that there was more, like it felt like lower range of YA, like 13, 14, I think is the range for their books. But it felt more like 16, 17, 18 for some of the topics. Like there's straight up kidnapping and torture in here. That being said, I think, well, like every single one of them are like that. Because So This Is After I have not mentioned this so far, or not So This Is Ever After. What am I talking about? Spellbound had this whole entire thing about corrupt government and the way that government tries to control groups of people for power and money and all this stuff. That was like a whole entire follow throughout the whole entire thing, and whatnot. So you know, and this has a little bit of like a kind of similar thing, but a little bit baby. But yes, I want to reread this. And also, should I describe the gay pirate joke? I guess. When I was reading this, I was trying to explain the synopsis of it to my mom's boyfriend. And he was like, so gay pirates, and now every time I read a book, he asks me if it's gay pirates, as in code for, is it just a gay book? And most of the time, the answer is no, oddly enough. He complains that I don't read enough gay pirate books. So I'm gonna reread the gay pirate book, despite the fact that, as far as I know, the pirates aren't gay. It's just gay and has pirates. But that's fine. But yeah, that's it. I'm gonna reread this one instead. And I'm gonna have a good time. Like, I can read this fast. And also, like, the text size is pretty large. And it's not, like, a thick book. I can definitely read this much faster than Legendborn. So, yeah, I'm gonna reread this. And I have a very good time with it. But I'm gonna save it for the last day. I'm gonna do A Soul to Keep first. Hello, welcome to the end of the vlog. Ignore the sounds of the ladybugs in my life. It's fine. Because yeah, I'm going to talk about the last 2 books, because I'm pretty sure the last time I updated you, one, I had fake nails still. I ripped them off, and then painted them, and then ripped off the nail polish. So now they're this. But, last time I updated you, I was reading Spellbound. That is the name of it. I'm pretty sure I finished that, and like I updated you. If not, future me's gonna pop in. But since then, things have happened. Like I finished Soul to Keep. Well, I read the 2 other books. Soul to Keep took me 6 days. If it wasn't for the podcast and me reading it also for the podcast and the fact that I had already taken like 4 pages of notes by the time that I got to the point where I wanted to DNF it so bad, I would have. Especially when I started describing his dick and I read halfway through. Because, like, listen, I'm going to torture everyone else with that. Because, like, I had to go through that. Everyone else has to go through that. Okay, that was an experience. An experience that I will happily never go through again. To give you a general rundown. Okay, so, like, there's Rhea. No, Orpheus. Rhea, her parents were killed by demons when she was a kid. She was the only survivor. And so everyone in the village basically assumed that she is a harbinger of bad omens and all this. And so they very badly mistreat her. Some people like throw rocks at her and stuff. And she's very lonely. No one ever talks to her. All this stuff. There's these things called duskwalkers that are like demons, but they can walk during the day. Hence the name. And every 10 years they come to these 3 villages to try to find a bride. And in payment they put up like protection spells to protect the village from the demons, right? And so they're forcing her to sacrifice herself to him. Because technically you have to be a willing sacrifice, but like technically they forced her into it. And it's kind of brought up the fact that that's kind of suspicious. And he's just like, well, it's too late now. I already accepted you. He takes her home. Blah, bing. Romance ensues. She's in danger a few times. They fall in love. I get why they would be cute together and be good together because he has been lonely for eons. And as a demon or duskwalker, the more you eat of something, the more you become like it. So over time, he's eaten humans, a few times out of like self-protection, right? And so by doing that, he's like intelligent, like human and all this stuff. And so he's lonely and is doing all this to find a human companion. And she's been lonely in her human village. So they find companionship in each other. His dick has tentacles. That's all I'm going to tell you. It's so much more than that. The one that dick, but also the book, because it's over 500 pages and it took me 6 days. I did not read anything else while I was reading that book. I hit the wall. I'm sorry. I was just reading that. And it took so much out of me that took, like, I can't even describe what this book did to my soul. So switching out the last book for this vlog was a great idea because, oh boy, do I have to speed edit this. But, yeah, no, I didn't have a good time. The writing style itself, not great. A lot of the character stuff, yeah, not great. Also, like, her character is one way and his character is another way, right? But, like, in a scene or something, they'll act complete opposite. Like, he's very caring and protective of her, and will do anything to make sure she's not hurt in any way and all this stuff. But also, he wants to, like, make it so she is comfortable there and all that stuff. So the way he communicates with her and talks with her and stuff, and things he tells her, he does it in a way so that he's trying not to scare her away. But anytime it's a spicy scene, it's just him blurting out all his thoughts, and it seems weird because he doesn't know that she's into it. We know she's into it, but like, if he doesn't know she's into it, then why would he do it? Because his whole entire thing is wanting to keep her there and make sure that she doesn't run away and all this stuff. So, also there's victim blaming in the end. That's a whole thing. Yeah, it wasn't good. I didn't like it. 2 stars. Seriously, listen to the podcast episode. I don't remember the day it comes out. I think it's late next month. If you want to know more, but like, God, that book. Which is why I'm very happy that I decided to read this next. This is what I lovingly call a comfort read. I love this book so much, hence why I bought it physically. because this is a reread. I did read the first chapter last night, which was like 21 pages, I think. But otherwise, I read the whole thing today, like before 5:30 p.m. Like, I read the whole thing, and I was having a great time. I did almost cry at a different point than I did the first time, according to my notes and slash review, where, like, near the end when he was gonna die, one of the characters was gonna die, I was, like, ready to cry. This time, when Athlin is telling Tal about how, the deal he made with the Sea Witch, and how the reason why he made it is because he was so lonely, and he didn't think that he would ever be able to find love, so, like, what was the purpose of, like, agreeing to those terms if he didn't think he was going to be able to find love because he was so lonely he didn't think anyone would love him and all this stuff. I'm fine. I didn't almost break down. Anyways, I have this one. I should probably talk about it. Tal Athlin. Yes, I am pointing at the right ones. So I'm very bad at holding books with dust jackets on them. Tal is a prince of a kingdom who he's, I think, the fourth in line. He's the third son and the fourth born, and he has magic, particularly, it's more in the fire magic realm, which is why I call it Checkpoint Lava Girl. But Gaverton, his ancestor, his great-grandfather was the last known mage who, like, straight up basically genocide, killed a bunch of people, all this stuff. So a lot of people would, not like it if there was another mage in the family, because, like, he killed all the other mages also. So, like, they've had him in hiding his whole life, and it's his 16th, shortly after his 16th birthday, I think, where he's supposed to be, like, touring the land and whatnot, and like, see how the people live and all this stuff. And so it's, like, really the first time he's left the castle, and some things happen, including kidnapping and torture. Before I get, because there is, like, one issue I have with this book. And before I get to that, I will talk about Athlin, who is the last merman. Yes, they are both last of their kind. This is why I think they are great together, because one, they're last of their kinds. Despite the fact that they are opposites when it comes to power, Tal usually seems to run very hot and all this stuff, and Athlin is cold, because, like, merman. So, like, it's, like, opposites type thing, but also when they first meet, Athlin is stuck on the bottom of a ship that is sinking, like, shackled there by captives who I think it was technically mercenaries or pirates, maybe, I don't know, who had kidnapped him and used his powers to help them out and all this stuff. Very similar to what Tal goes through, which is another reason why they're great together, because they understand each other. They're both lonely. They're both the only of their kind. No one else really understands how this works. And they're just cute together, okay? Okay? I love them. I love them. Hear me out. In the very beginning, in the second time he meets Athlin, Athlin is being basically ripped off by this merchant, right? And so he goes in to help them out, all this stuff. And so for payment, Athlin is not part of the human world, right? So he doesn't know how bartering and money system works and all this stuff. So he gives Tal a shark tooth in, like, payment, because he doesn't understand the worth of things. He's like, oh, thank you for helping me. Let me give you this worthy thing. And he just gives him a random shark tooth. And he's like, I guess. But he keeps it on him throughout the whole entire book. At one point, he, like, purposely makes sure to put it in his shirt pocket, his other shirt pocket. Like, he switches the shirts that he put it in so that he could keep it safe. And there's another point in it, which brings into, like, my main gripe of this book. A good chunk, like a third of this book, the middle third of this book, a lot of it is him being kidnapped by these mercenaries, tortured, abused, mentally abused, like, he's dying afterwards, and all this stuff until he erupts in rage, and all this stuff happens, and then Athlin saves him, and helps him get better, but, like, he's, like, delirious with fever, and he's, like, pretty badly messed up from all of this stuff. Physically, mentally, you know, probably got some trauma. Good times. And there's 4 different times I can think off the top of my head when characters say something or do something and then are surprised when he's all like, yeah, but also I was kidnapped and tortured, and they're like, wait, what? Like, I don't know how to say what I'm trying to say except to, like, explain it, which is basically, Athlin has his friend who helps heal him after Athlin rescues him, because he doesn't really know human healing and whatnot. So he's like, let me get with the one friend I know. And at one point, she calls him like a do-good-nothing prince who only has fancy dinners and balls and all this stuff. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm so do-nothing good. Like, all I do is that. And also get kidnapped and tortured in a plot for political kingdom stuff and all this fun stuff. And she's like, well, you're snarky when you're hungry. And I'm just like, no, she's been a bit, she was not a very rude person throughout this whole entire book to him, and only his character. And then she snaps at him, and he snaps back one time, and she's like, you're snarky when you're hungry. And like, it's after he's been kidnapped and tortured, presumed dead, and all this stuff is happening. She knows all this stuff is happening, and she's like, princes are good for nothing. They do nothing except eat fancy dinners. Right? That's one of them. Another one is when his personal guard is like, you gotta stop having fun with your friends and go do your job as a prince. And he's like, then he snaps again. And I'm just like, hell yeah. Where he's all like, excuse me, do you think I was having fun for those weeks I was on that ship being tortured? You think I was having fun for that week I was basically dead from the fever? Like, excuse me. And then, after he returns home, one of his older brothers, the oldest brother, second in line, right? And his younger sister sneak into his room after he's been asleep for a bit, to try to play a prank on him. And he attacks the older brother, thinking that someone's coming in to attack him in his sleep. And the only reason he doesn't burn him is because Athlin is there and stops him. And his brother's like, oh, I guess I shouldn't play pranks on you anymore. Ha ha. And then continues to make jokes about, like, how he eats so much and, like, can't wait for anyone else. And he's like, yeah, I haven't eaten in days. He's like, oh, shit. Oh, okay. And then he realizes, hey, my brother's not the same person before. He went through some shit and it changed him. And then the younger sister sees the shark tooth on the ground. This is where it comes full circle, right? On the ground, and picks up, and he's like, give it back. And she's like, no, it's mine now. And then he's like, and the older brother's like, no, you gotta give it back to him, because he's like, not the same person. And it's like, played off as this thing where all these people don't recognize the shit he's gone through. Right? Like, the only time he's really recognized is after he tells a whole entire story to his family, and the eldest of them, his older sister, is all like, wow, you want to learn some stuff? And he's like, yeah, but I did what I had to survive. And I'm just like, yeah, so can we stop treating him like a baby? He burned people alive. He's been through some shit. I'm pretty sure he can handle you taking him to the dungeons to talk to a lady. Right? And at one point, the older brother is going to take him to the dungeon to question one of the people who helped kidnap him, right? And they get separated briefly. He's talking to another lady, blah, 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 blah. And the older brother is like, why didn't you ever tell me that, like, she did this stuff to you? And he's like, what's the point? A lot of shit happened. I just didn't tell you all of it, because, like, you don't need to know every little detail of what happened to me. Which means he didn't even tell them the depths of it. Of the stuff that he went through. And it pisses me off how people react, and then they react to his reaction to the things that they do, and then the way they react to his reaction to things, because he's been through shit. And the only person who understands is Athlin, and this is why they are the purple perfect couple. The end. Did any of that make sense? I don't think so. The moral of the story is I upped it to 5 stars. I think I originally rated it 4, and then at some point in the past, like, year and a half, I upped it to 4.5. You know, other than, like, that one thing that I complained about for, like, 10 minutes, I love this book wholeheartedly. It is a comfort read. 5 stars, okay? Like, the way it wasn't already. I'm sorry. So, yeah, that's that. Should I do a basic rundown of what happened? I gotta look back at the whiteboard. I don't know, it's been so long. It was, oh, Dino Stud was the other one, right? Right, Dino Stud, also 2 stars. Dinosaur Erotica will be a podcast episode about it. There will be a running joke throughout the podcast now, because I am me about how every other book is more erotic than this erotica, because it was not erotic. And also, I prefer the dinosaurs. And then the Ali Wong, didn't rate because I don't think the book was meant for me. And I don't think her comedy right now is for me. Like, maybe if it was an audiobook and she was reading it to me, yeah. But like, I don't know. I think I prefer her comedy in like a comedy special, stand-up type thing, unless there's a written down thing, right? Does that make sense? Probably not. Spellbound, I think I rated that one 4 stars. I mean, at this point, F.T. Lucas is my favorite author. Like, I loved all 3 the books that I've read by them so far. So happy I managed to get it from NetGalley. It's very surprised still, but yeah, I had a good time. The cat content was cute. And yeah. And then, of course, Soul to Keep 2 stars. Kill Me. I can't wait till I record that episode so that I can never think about it ever again after I finish editing it. And then Deeper Waters, now 5 stars. I love it. Everyone should read it, if you need an explanation to read it. And I quote, me, this is what I call it all the time, gay, shark boy, and lava girl. Anyways, this is great. I love it. And I'm gonna go. I'm tired. I gotta go. Thank you for coming to this chaos of a vlog that was shoehorned together by the bare of my teeth. And yeah, this has been fun. I mean, I guess it was a great excuse to read this book. Every other book I was already planning to read, but this one, great excuse to read it again. 10 out of 10. Next video that goes up should be the wrap-up, this Saturday. Yes, I am putting it up on Saturdays, but the fact that the first of the month is Saturday. Yes, I'm going to do the fastest turnaround I've ever done. It's fine. It probably won't be uploaded until later in the day, like more noon than 10 a.m. Eastern, but like, that's fine. That's fine. And then after that will be the weekend reading vlog. Because next month is retellings month, where I read only retellings. Yes, I'm very excited. It's gonna be a fun time. I'm gonna read a lot of Katie Roberts' Wicked Villain series for the podcast for that reason alone. I'm using it as an excuse. Let's go. Everything's linked below, and whatnot. I don't think there's gonna be anything up above in the card, so like everything is linked below in my link tree, where H is also there because like I talk about H in almost every single video. Might as well just keep H down there. That sounded weird, but whatever. And until the next video.